And welcome back, everyone, to the Pokemon Team Creation Series. From Eric, we have, what is Beast Boy? I can't do a Beast Boy impression, I'm going to try. Beast Boy's Pokemon Team. Beast Boy is very interesting because I could literally have any combination of on this team because Beast Boy's whole shtick is he can turn into animals. So, what do I do here? Let's start with the obvious one. A shapeshifter like him has to have a Ditto on the team. It's just a given. It has to be the case. So there you go. But what about the rest of the team? Well, I wanted to try to stick to animals, and I've stuck with at least the cartoon, although the comic also works in this case. Animals that I knew he often turned into. And beyond that, I wanted to go at least one kind of dark horse one outlier. And that is Corviknight. Why Corviknight? Well, he's turned into birds before, no problem. But Corviknight is, at least in part, based on a raven with armor on it. And in the comics, he's been romantically involved with Raven. He is, they've gotten married in the comics before. That's been retconned, but they've still been a romantic item and at minimum been close friends. So I felt Corviknight worked here. Beyond that, though, now we go into just me throwing random shit out. I think I've seen a gorilla multiple times, so that meant Rillaboom was going to be on the team. I know for a fact he goes for an elephant a lot of times, so Copperajah decided to make it on the team. I went Copperajah over Donphan because size-wise he mirrors an elephant a lot more. I could have also theoretically gone one of the Paradox forms, but no. In terms of big cats, he's either a tiger or a lion, and I'm not a big tiger Cineroar fan, so I went with Pyroar. I thought that made more sense. And then when he wants to just throw it out there, folks, he goes into his Tyrannosaur form, Tyrantrum, because that's usually one of his big aces, at least in the cartoon it was. So there you have it. You might be thinking, well, that's pretty quick. Why'd you do that? Because A, I'm running low on battery here, but B, I kind of want to just get to the point here get to how balanced of the team and where this team would do the best in. Because with this team, the reasoning behind the team isn't all that important compared to other teams. In terms of how balanced this team is, there's only 4 types that give this team problems. Ice gives 2 of these mon problems with both Rillaboom and with Corva. Actually, not even Corva. Tyrantrum. Corviknight. Corviknight is able to resist ice thanks to the steel typing. Also, there's a problem with both fire and ground. 3 of them on this team, both Tyrantrum, Pyroar, and Copperajah get clipped by ground, and then Rillaboom, Corviknight, and Copperajah get clipped by fire. Unfortunately, even further, Ditto, Copperajah, Pyroar, and Tyrantrum all get gut checked by fighting types. Of course, Ditto does have the little caveat that it can turn into a different type when it transforms. So there is that little advantage. But still, there's your weaknesses overall. That means I should probably also look at in the future, look at the types this team are actually strong against. Like, what do they actually have an advantage over? So maybe I'll have to add that on to this part of the video. But now getting to it. Where do these teams succeed the most? And where do these teams succeed the least? With this one, there was an immediate problem. Ditto as a starter, which it would have to be Ditto as a starter. You're not getting past any region's first gym with just a Ditto. Okay, it's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely. And so I had to do a little bit of cheating here. I had to cheat a little bit here. I gave Beast Boy both his Rookidee that he would have turning into a Corviknight and his Ditto at the first gym. The only caveat here is that he's not catching a third mon at the second gym. We're just going to wait until the third gym so he catches it. So with now a Rookidee and a Ditto, could he go through Kanto? And honestly, yes. The only issue really would still be Brock. If he can get past Brock, and that's still a big if, he should be able to beat the entirety. Misty won't be a problem. Surge is a little tricky, but Rillaboom, or actually at that point it'd be a Thwackey, should be fine. Plus you can transform your Ditto. Then at that point, you got Copperajah and Corvisquire. At that point, you'll have Corviknight. And at that point, then you got a full team. And even though Giovanni is a ground gym leader, Rillaboom, being a powerful grass type, would just cleave through most of that gym, no problem. Lorelei's ice tends to be a little problematic, but nothing he can't handle. Bruno's fighting types theoretically would be problematic if they're already good. And you can handle the two the Onyxes. Then you have Agatha, who's you're not neither good nor strong against. And then Lance, who's got dragon and flying types mostly. But you should be able to manage against him, honestly. Because if nothing else, your Tyranium is a much stronger dragon than most of the dragons on the team in that gen. And then Blue is going to be a little tricky, but you should be able to handle it. So yes, you could become the champion of Kanto. What about Johto? Well, you'll be fine up until Chuck. Because at the point when you get to Chuck, you should have your bottom 5 here. The problem is half that team is just taken out by fighting types. But because Rillaboom can easily take out the Poliwrath and Corvisquire should be able to survive the Primeape, you should be okay. After that, your only issues are really, even Claire is not that big of a problem with Tyrantrum. And then, honestly, your biggest issue is going to be Lance. Unfortunately, Lance's team is a lot more, especially if you go with like Heart Gold Soul Silver's team, is a lot more balanced. That one's a maybe. You might be able to, but he's got a lot of your weaknesses covered, and and you don't have a lot of his weaknesses covered. So it's a maybe. Hoenn is also a maybe. Again, it's all contingent on if you can get past Roxanne. If you can get past Roxanne, you should be okay. Mind you, Flannery's actually going to give you some problems as well. And honestly, Drake. Drake is problematic because he's all dragons. You only got one dragon. And 2 of those dragons are Flygons with Earthquake. Your Corviknight should be able to avoid the Earthquakes, but your one dragon isn't. And you've got half your team is immediately weak to ground. I'm actually going to have to take it back. I don't think you can become champion here. Because even then, you got to then go past Steven. And the only strong mon you have against Steven, frankly, is Pyroar. And Rillaboom for the Claydol. That's it. So, I don't think you could become champion of Hoenn. Likewise, if you could get past Rourke, and that's a big... Honestly, I'm going to be honest. I think you're stopgapped at Rourke even with 2 mon. Because it's just a pure flying type. So I don't see that happening. Even if you could get past Rorik, you're immediately going to be stopped at Bertha because her ground types are going to make mincemeat of half your team. Rillaboom could handle the majority of them, but I have a feeling you might lose before then. Even if you get past Bertha, you're not getting past Cynthia. Her team's too balanced. It's just, and a bunch of Vermont, no Earthquake. So right out the gate, you got problems. So I don't think you can become champion as Sinnoh. Univa's a maybe. Because the only issues you're honestly going to really have, because you can honestly get through most of the region without too much difficulty, is the fighting type Elite Four member, whose name I always forget. That's problematic. If a quarter of your team is weak. 2/3 of your team, sorry. 2/3 of your team is weak to fighting. Assuming the Ditto can transform, you'll have a better shot. But even then, that's no guarantee. If you can get past that, Alder is a maybe. Because that Volcarona, the only thing you got an answer for that Volcarona is Tyrantrum. And honestly, with both a Druddigon and the Vanillux on the team, I don't think that you're getting a chance to go after that Volcarona with that Tyrantrum, which means you have a problem when it comes to that Volcarona. Because that thing can sweep the majority of your team. But maybe you could. You're not beating Iris. Too many dragons, not enough answers to her dragons, and other coverage like the Aggron, Archeops, and Lapras. I don't think you'll be able to get past that. I really don't. So you can't beat Iris. I completely forgot to do Kalos. How about that? Kalos, real quick here. You should be able to handle the first Viola, no problem. You're stopgapped immediately at Grant. I just realized you're stopgapped at Grant because you still only have a pure flying type, and transforming is only going to help you so much. I don't think you can clear Grant. If you manage to clear it, you would still struggle because Flying Press is going to take out Thwackey, and you still only have a flying type, and Flying Press, you might be able to take out your Corvisquire as well. If by a miracle you get past that, then you actually will have a clear run throughout the majority of the region. The only Elite Four member that's going to be problematic really is both the Dragon and the Fire Gym Leader Elite Four members. Dianthus' team is pretty stacked with 2 Dragons on the team and an Ice type, which this team has a weakness to, as well as starting with the Hawlucha, which is a fighting type, which this team has a severe weakness to, and you don't have anything as fast as that damn Hawlucha on the team. So, for example, that Ditto, if you start out with it, it could be done immediately. So, no, I don't think you could be the win in Kalos. And in Galar, you're going to have a problem with Kobu immediately. It's not an immediate problem, though. You might be able to get past Kobu, but if you get past Kobu, you're then going to have to deal with Raihan, who's both Dragon and Ground. And that's just a whole lot of no right there. Plus Sandstorm effects, which admittedly half your team would be immune to. But, yeah, that's a problematic team. And honestly, I didn't even realize this team could probably exist within the Galar region. Minus the Triantrum, but even then. And then let's just say you get past all that and you manage to get the Lance. You're not getting past Lance because the Aegis Slash is going to be problematic. If you beat it with your Ditto, his Dragon Bolt, which outspeeds everything on your team, has Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Dragon Breath, and I can't remember the third one. Point being, it's got something for everything on this team. Literally, it's going to take out your Aegis Slash Transform Ditto, cleave through 3/5, 60% of the remaining mana on the team. And then if you manage to take it down with the Tyrantrum, he's then going to bring out a Haxorus, and you're not prepared for that shit. So, yeah, you can't beat Lance. And then last but not least, you're probably not beating the league in a Paldea because Iono's team is problematic. Not impossible, problematic. The Corvus Squire, for example, is not going to be doing well here. But Ditto would be able to help a little bit, certainly. And Flaky would actually manage to be okay. The problem immediately comes again, the Elite Four, with, once again, say it with me, Ground and Rika. And Hassel. Hassel's Dragon type. If you manage to get past Rika, because Rillaboom might be able to pull it off, you still got to deal with Hassel's Dragons, and you only got 1 Dragon. That's it. And he's got... I've said it before, and I'll say it again. While the gyms were a little lackluster in Paldea, the Elite Four in Paldea is a legit Elite Four. That's a solid Elite Four. So, yeah, you can definitely become champion in a couple regions. Definitely. It wouldn't be easy, but you could do it. But this is my opinion. What do you think? Let me know. Until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.